There are stories or tales that may surprise you. In Latin America, there are countless creepy urban legends that are sure to catch your attention, but there is no doubt that you will be surprised. What would you do with a ghost or a strange creepy creature around you? Are you curious about what makes them so popular even today? A long time ago, in the Llanos region of Venezuela, there was a young man who was married to a beautiful girl. With time, this seemingly ideal marriage gave birth to a young boy. One day, the boy found his own father beating his mother. Enraged, he threatened his father with great violence. But his father, far from apologizing, said that his mother deserved it. This caused his son, overcome with anger, to start beating him. When he succeeded in pushing his father to the ground, he grabbed the stick and pressed it against his father's neck. The boy did not let go until he noticed that his father had stopped breathing. At that moment, the boy's grandfather, his father's father, was filled with a dark fury and acted savagely. He tied the boy to a gnarled oak tree in the middle of the darkness and began to cut into his skin with a blade, lashing against his flesh until he was bathed in his own crimson blood. Satisfied, the grandfather rubbed a caustic hot pepper into his bones, and then released a bloodthirsty hound to chase the boy out of sight. I know what you're thinking of. Great environment to raise a child. From then on, no one saw him alive again. It is said that fearful apparitions of the ghost began to appear at night. People heard his blood-curdling whistle, and many spoke of the glint of a heavy sack he carried on his frame. It is believed by the locals that it is the same bag of bones that he bore out of spite, thus of his father who had wronged him. In Colombia, this phantom spirit is recognized, though stories of its ancient birth vary. The legend of the Silbone is thought to date back to the gloomy centuries of the 19th century. It is said in Colombia that the Silbone is the spirit of a young man who spent his life living for pleasure, but perished in a fate of total isolation. He is condemned to exist in a state beyond the mortal realm and doomed to wander the earth in search of companions. To this end, he lets out an eerie, haunting whistle so ghostly that it is said to chill the souls of those who hear it. In Colombia, he is known not as the Silbone but the Silbador, a warning of a restless soul, forever roaming in search of that which he can never have. Many years ago in Mexico, deep in the dark forests of the north, there lived a beautiful indigenous woman, let's call her Anica, which led a Spanish gentleman, let's call him Pedro, to fall madly in love with her. He promised her the world, even that of his homeland, and she, seduced by his sweet words, was willing to trust him and return with him, leaving everything she had. The relationship grew strong, and the relationship produced 3 wonderful children. Anica, living her perfect dream, wanted to marry his love. As you can feel it coming, this nice dream is going soon to turn into a nightmare. Pedro, pursuing his ambition and despite the deep connection with Anica, the Spanish gentleman refused to make the union official. Instead, he chose to marry a wealthy woman from Spain. The beautiful woman, inconsolable and consumed by jealousy, unleashed her wrath and despair upon her own children. She decided to bring her children to a walk, and once arrived to the river, Anica decided to commit a heinous act, pushing her children into the deep dark cold water, making sure that none of them will make it. When she finally realized what she had done, she became hysterical and decided to commit her last act on earth by throwing herself into the river to join her children. Ever since then, her past has been cursed with emptiness and suffering, a spirit wandering in the darkness of night, screaming and mourning for beloved children for eternity. The Puerto Ricans were hard-pressed by the merciless and plundering pirates, who seemed to have an endless supply of men and weapons. Knowing they couldn't protect the city forever, they resorted to erecting an enormous wall to bar their entry. The wall was built to such a great height that its end lost sight of the ocean in its height, and the wall extended so far that watchtowers were needed to be constructed, so that when the watchword was shouted from one spot to the other, the sentinels may stay vigilant and prepared, while the watchword was saying,
"Sentry, alert!"
its response from the piers around.
"I am alert."
It took the word and echoed across the enormous wall, the cry of the sentinels of old becoming ever more chilling as it reached the furthest watchtower in the unforgiving Black Ocean, as if warning the merciless pirates not to enter this sacred place. On that fateful night, when an eerie darkness shrouded Puerto Rico, something extraordinary and sinister was about to unfold. Sentry Sanchez, renowned for his striking white skin and gorgeous beauty, was assigned to the most isolated sentry box, perched near the edge of a steep cliff. It was considered an unlucky post, as chilling screams were said to echo above the crashing waves. With trepidation, Sanchez trekked to his post at midnight, uncertain of what nightmarish horror he may encounter. The other sentries soon returned, passing on the slogan,
"Sentry, alert!"
I am alert!
In monotone succession, they resumed the call, until finally they reached Sanchez.
Sentry, alert!
The hostile stillness that descended on the sentry box was like a knife through the heart of the man who shared the post with Sanchez. He called out to him countless times, but no answer ever came. No movement could be detected in the darkness. The sea was peacefully still and the horizon foreboding. Strict orders had been issued by their superiors to not wander off during the night. Yet, the men made their way to Sanchez's post at first light. When they arrived, their terror deepened. They found Sanchez clothing and weapons, but not a glimpse of his body, as if he had disappeared into thin air.
The devil took him!
Shouted one of his companions. For ages, the sentry box on the wall has been known as the Demon Sentry Box, a place so terrifying that not a single soldier had the courage to keep watch there. Those brave enough to even speak its name do so in hushed tones, fearful of drawing the attention of the unseen horrors that lurk nearby. Legend has it that the Sayona was a tall, grotesque entity with twisted black hair and eyes as black as midnight. Her name was Casilda, who lived in the Plains region during the colonial era, and she was known for her unparalleled obsession with her beloved husband, Severiano. Although they had a happy marriage on the outside, Casilda was filled with a sinister jealousy that relentlessly consumed her every thought. She was relentless in her pursuit of her husband's fidelity, stalking his every move and punishing him severely for even the slightest potential indiscretions. Her jealous fury was provoked by fear of his straying, and as a result, their son carried the fear of her into adulthood. Casilda's beauty had drawn the attention of an insidious and perverse stalker. Whenever she ventured to the river to bath, he was never far behind, spying from the shadows. On one fateful day, Casilda caught him in the act and flew into a rage, crying out and accusing him for his vile deeds. In a desperate attempt to free himself from the situation, the man lied, claiming he was sent to warn her that her husband was being unfaithful to her own mother. A lie that only deepened the horror that Casilda had felt in that moment. He lied to her, saying,
"I am not here to spy on you, but to warn you that your husband is unfaithful to your own mother."
Casilda was consumed by a blinding fury, and in a completely unhinged rampage. She marched to her own home and set it ablaze, trapping her beloved husband and son inside. She then charged to her mother's abode, brandishing a blood-stained machete and viciously accusing the older woman of deceit and betrayal. The cries of Casilda's mother fell on deaf ears, as her cries of innocence, begging for mercy, were lost in a wave of insatiable wrath. With scant remaining energy, her mother caused Casilda before she succumbed to the irreparable wounds inflicted by her own daughter's nefarious machete. The last words of her mother was,
I have not lied to you, but you have committed an unforgivable sin. I condemn you to be a Sayona forever, and in the name of God, so be it.
Tales of terror spread like wildfire, and soon everyone around knew about the Sayona, Casilda. Her beauty was legendary, but many feared her worse. She roamed the night, searching for the fathers, sons, and husbands who had cuckolded their wives. Many a man has been senselessly entranced by this phantom woman, only to awaken moments later and see her true and shining form. Standing up to 3 meters tall, red eyes bleeding from dark pits, menacingly crooked teeth, and wild-knocked hair, those who were unfortunate to cross her path would suffer a fate worse than death. Some said they witnessed her unfolding, transforming into a beastly creature, such as a wolf or hound, a sign that whoever provoked her was would receive the worst punishment imaginable. So beware, for the Sayona is still on the hunt, and she always chooses her victims carefully. It has been great creating this video, and I hope you have enjoyed watching it. Your feedback is much appreciated, so please let me know in the comments what you think or if you have any ideas on how to make it even more interesting. Thanks for watching, and see you next week on this same channel.